Hello everybody, welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make an orange cake. This is just going to be a simple round cake with orange juice and orange zest in it. Very, very tasty. And for that, to start with, I have a 9-inch, 23cm springform pan which I have greased and lined with parchment paper, bottom and sides. Now this is a springform pan. If you don't have one, if you have a 9-inch pan which is of a reasonable depth, that will be fine, because the lining with paper will make it easy to get the cake out. If you only have an 8-inch springform pan, you could use that, but you have to adjust the baking time a little bit because the batter will be deeper and therefore it will take slightly longer to cook in the centre. And to start with, I have my oven preheating at 170 Celsius. That's 150 Celsius with a fan, 340 Fahrenheit. So that's ready to go. And so onto the ingredients, and I have 270 grams, which is 2 cups and 1 tablespoon of plain flour. I have 80 grams, which is 5.5 tablespoons of butter, unsalted and at room temperature. I have the zest from 2 lemons, finely grated. I have 3 medium eggs, which would be large in the USA. 180 millilitres, which is 3/4 of a cup of orange juice. So I squeezed the juice from the oranges and then I sieved it to remove any pulpy pieces, and left myself with 180 millilitres, 3/4 of a cup. I have 125 grams, which is half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of caster sugar or granulated sugar. I have 2.5 teaspoons, 10 grams of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to do all the work in my stand mixer. You could use a hand mixer or you could do this by hand. It's just, hopefully the stand mixer will make it a little bit easier. But as always with a stand mixer, as you're working, don't forget to scrape down the sides of the bowl so that things get mixed properly. So I'm going to start off by putting my sugar and my butter into the mixer. And there's actually not very much of these, so that's why the stand mixer isn't always a good idea, and I would need to scrape the bowl down to make sure that everything gets mixed in properly. And with that mixed in, I'm going to add the eggs one at a time and mix those until they're combined. And with the eggs, I'm going to put the orange zest in as well. And then when you've got the eggs and the orange zest mixed in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the baking powder and the salt into the flour, and I'm going to stir that around. You could sift it, but I'm going to stir it around with a little whisk to get everything incorporated. And then I'm going to add the flour a spoonful at a time into the egg mixture until that's all in. And with that flour mixed in, I'm then going to have the mixer running, and I'm going to slowly pour in the orange juice as well until that's fully combined. And when that's fully combined, you need to transfer that into the prepared cake tin. And it should pour reasonably well. And then I'm going to just give that a little shake to level it off. And I'm going to put that into the oven, and I'm going to bake it for 35 minutes. So it will rise. It may crack a little bit on the top. That doesn't really matter. But it will rise, and it may rise more in the centre, but again, it doesn't matter. This is a nice simple cake. So once that's baked for 35 minutes, I'll take it out and let it cool completely in the tin before I take it out and put it onto a plate, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the results. I baked the cake for 35 minutes exactly, took it out of the oven, and I allowed it to cool down for about 30 minutes in the tin. Then I took it out and put it onto a wire rack, and it's just about completely cool now, and I've put it onto a plate. And you don't have to do this, but I'm going to sprinkle some icing sugar over the top. You could put some frosting on if you wanted to. As you can see, there's just a couple of little cracks on the top, but that's fine, that's what I was expecting. So I'm just going to give a light coating of icing . Sugar over the top, like that. And then I'll cut into it, take a slice out. As you can see, looks very good. I'll have a taste of it. It's lovely and soft, and it's a little bit moist. Not dry at all, should I say, rather than a little bit moist. And it has a nice subtle orange flavour to it. So this is a perfectly easy cake to make. It tastes very good, and it could be frosted. You could put some syrup on the top. You could poke some holes in and brush some syrup in as well if you wanted to. That's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put that link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.